Hello, I'm Eldon Warrick, a 72-year-old Texan who gave everything for my family. But when I asked about my son's wedding, my daughter-in-law smirked. It was yesterday, just for real family. That cut deep, worse than the forged deed stealing my home. I fought back with evidence, but what did Velma plan next? Follow my story to find out. Comment your city below. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I stood in my kitchen, the creak of the old wooden floor under my boots a familiar comfort, like the heartbeat of this Waco house I'd called home for decades. The morning sun slipped through the window, glinting off the oak trees outside and the faded photos of Ellen on the fridge. Her smile still warmed me, even 5 years after she left this world. I was pouring coffee when Velma breezed in, her heels clicking sharper than usual. She'd been coming around more lately, always with that calculated smile, like a cat eyeing a birdcage. "Morning, Velma," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Calvin mentioned a wedding date. When's it set for?" I leaned against the counter, expecting a straight answer. Calvin, my son, had been cagey lately, and I figured she'd know. Her lips curled into a smirk, sharp as a paper cut. "Oh, Eldon, it was yesterday," she said, her voice dripping with something I couldn't quite name. "Just for real family." The words landed like a slap, her eyes glinting with a challenge, daring me to react. I froze, coffee mug halfway to my mouth. Yesterday? My own son's wedding, and I wasn't there? I glanced at the counter where a cream-colored invitation lay, its gold lettering mocking me. My name wasn't on it. Not a mistake. Deliberate. I thought of the 30 years I'd poured into this house, every mortgage payment a promise to Ellen and Calvin for a stable life. Family's not just blood, it's who shows up. I'd shown up. They hadn't. I set the mug down, slow, to keep my hands from shaking. "Real family, huh?" I said, voice low, masking the sting. Velma just shrugged, grabbing her purse like she hadn't just gut-punched me. I sank into the living room chair, the silence heavy as I pictured Calvin at the courthouse, saying vows without me. I'd raised him alone after Ellen passed, teaching him to ride his bike down Waco's dusty streets, cheering at his games, even when my lawyer hours ran late. Why didn't he tell me? Velma's influence, no doubt. She'd always had a knack for steering him, but I held back from calling him. Not yet. Something was off, and my old lawyer instincts told me to watch and wait. Don't let him see you sweat, I thought, staring at a photo of Tilden, my 10-year-old grandson, on the wall. His grin was a flicker of light in this mess. Later, I grabbed my phone, scrolling through notifications. That's when I saw it. Velma's post, a string of wedding photos, all smiles and flowers. The caption read, "Real family moments." Lorene, her mother, was tagged, along with half her side of the family. Not a whisper of me. The comments poured in from Waco folks, people I'd known for years, like Doris Varn, who'd always said family was everything in this town. The public snub burned worse than the invitation. I screenshotted it, saving it like evidence. I'm nobody's ghost, I thought, jaw tight. The truth don't hide forever. By evening, I stepped onto the porch, the Texas air cool against my face. The mailbox caught my eye, stuffed with the usual bills. One envelope stood out, thick with a bank logo. My gut twisted. Velma's business talk with Calvin last month had mentioned big plans for this house. I tore it open, scanning the words. Property transfer notice. My heart kicked like a mule. What's this about my house? Velma, what are you playing at? The bank letter from last night sat on my kitchen table like a coiled snake. I sipped my coffee, the bitter taste matching my mood, and tore into the envelope again. Property transfer notice glared back in bold print, tied to my Waco home, the one I'd paid off over 30 years for Ellen and Calvin. The date on the notice lined up with Velma's recent business visits to our house, her purse stuffed with papers she never explained. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'll have the deed, I thought, my lawyer's mind clicking into gear. I dialed the bank, my voice steady as I asked for details. The clerk's reply hit like a brick. The deed was transferred to Velma's name, no consent from me. I gripped the phone, the weight of those mortgage payments pressing on my chest, but I shoved the anger down. No rash moves. I'd head to the courthouse tomorrow. Morning came, and I drove to the McLennan County Courthouse, the Texas sun already warming my old truck's cab. Inside, the clerk handed me the deed records, and there it was, Velma's forged signature scrawled in my place, dated right after Calvin's wedding. My pulse stayed even, but my mind raced. As I stood by the counter, I caught Velma's voice on a nearby speakerphone. "He's too old to care about the house now." The clerk didn't notice my quick phone snap of the document, but I did, evidence locked in. Ellen's words echoed. "Stand firm, Eldon. Legacy isn't given, it's guarded." I tucked the phone away and headed home, adding the photo to a file folder I'd started after Velma's smirk yesterday. Back in my office, the mailbox rattled. Another thick envelope from the bank, labeled Joint Account Alert. I slid it open, and a $2,200 interest bill for my house stared back, tied to a loan Velma signed for Calvin's company. I logged into online banking, unauthorized transfers, monthly under my nose. Blood is thicker than water, but ink on a deed runs deeper, I thought, fury simmering but controlled. I canceled the auto payments with a few clicks, the betrayal's chill settling in. I called Doris Varn, my neighbor, for advice, but kept it vague. "Just checking on some bank trouble? Heard anything?" She hadn't, but her tone promised to keep ears open. I thanked her, holding back the full story. By evening, I sat at my desk, the deed photo and bill spread out like a puzzle. Velma's scheme was taking shape. Wedding snub, forged deed, now this loan. I scribbled a note to Calvin. "We need to talk about the house, soon." A knock at the door broke my focus. A courier dropped off a glossy brochure from Velma's PR firm. Photos of my house plastered across it labeled Calvin's New Family Home. My jaw tightened. She thinks I'm fading. Time to remind her I built this from nothing. Velma's turning my legacy into her billboard. How far does this go? I sat at my desk, the brochure from Velma's PR firm still mocking me with photos of my own house. Digging through my old files, I found Ellen's handwritten notes from the 1990s, her neat script detailing our Waco charity drives. After she passed, I'd poured my grief into starting a fund in her name, raising $50,000 for local families. Her words rang clear. "Give back what you've been given." That fund was tied to this house's equity. The same equity Velma was now circling like a vulture. Her PR skills had twisted my work into her narrative, a wolf in sheep's clothing. "You reap what you sow," I muttered, eyeing the brochure. I decided to head to the community charity event tomorrow to see what she was playing at. The Waco Community Hall buzzed with familiar faces, the air thick with coffee and small-town chatter. Velma stood at the podium, unveiling a banner that read, "Doss Family Legacy Fund. My fund, my sweat, erased." A donor, gray-haired and well-meaning, approached me. "You're the tenant now, right? Heard Velma's family owns it." I forced a smile. "I built it, brick by brick," I said, just as Velma glanced over, her smirk sharp as ever. Lorene stood nearby, nodding with those banker's eyes gleaming like she'd cashed a check. I pocketed the program crediting Velma, adding it to my folder. Mark Twain's words hit me. "The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated." I wasn't done yet. Back home, the phone rang, jarring the quiet. Lorene's voice came through, syrupy and fake. "Just thanking you, Eldon, for lending the house to our growing family." Her tone echoed the mortgage bill's efficiency talk. "Efficiency for who, Lorene?" I asked, my voice calm but pointed. She laughed it off. "Family business." Then slipped. "Calvin's too soft. We handle the real decisions." I recorded it quietly, her words a goldmine. Hanging up, I connected the dots to Velma's wedding snub and the forged deed. Boots on the ground win more than fancy words, I thought, Texas grit steadying me. I replayed Lorene's call, her banker ties to the deed fraud clicking into place. I typed an email to Calvin. "Time to talk truths, son, before it's too late." A forgotten voicemail from Tilden last Christmas played next, his small voice a lifeline. "Love you, Grandpa. They think I'm yesterday's news. Tomorrow, I rewrite the headline." The doorbell chimed, and Doris stood there, clutching a courthouse package labeled Urgent Witness Statement. Doris has dirt on Velma. What bombshell is this? I sat in my home office, the faint hum of Waco's evenings settling around me, her smug, Calvin's too soft jab stuck in my craw, hinting at a deeper game. I opened my laptop, diving into old emails backed up from Calvin's phone, my fingers steady despite the knot in my gut. There it was, a deleted draft from right after his wedding. Dad, I wanted you there, but Velma insisted on small. It read, raw and unpolished. My son had tried to reach out, and someone buried it. I checked the bank app next, spotting a $500 transfer attempt from Calvin's account. Declined. No explanation. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest, I thought, channeling Benjamin Franklin. Time to call Calvin, stick to facts, no accusations yet. I dialed, leaning back in my creaky chair. Heard from Lorene about the house. What's going on, son? I asked, voice even. Calvin stammered, his words tripping over themselves. The wedding. Velma wanted it intimate, Dad. Just her folks. I sent him the screenshot of his deleted draft. Then why'd this vanish? Silence hung heavy. Then he mumbled, Tech glitch, maybe. I pressed harder. Glitches don't rewrite deeds, Calvin. His sigh carried years of strain. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than a coon dog, I said, sharp but paternal. Fix this, son, or it fixes itself. I hung up, my warning clear, no room for softness. Digging deeper, I logged into the joint account tied to that cursed mortgage bill. There it was, Calvin's $500 attempt, flagged declined with Velma's name as account manager. A quick call to the bank confirmed she'd blocked it, her memo reading, family adjustment, no need for extras. The pattern clicked, the charity snub, the forged deed, now this. My dream was this family, I thought. Oprah's words ringing true, but not at this cost. I drafted a formal letter to Calvin, copying Velma, demanding the deed reversal, my lawyer's precision cutting through. I sealed the letter, setting it by the door for morning mail, when Doris's voicemail chimed. Heard something Velma said at church. Call me. I thought of raising Calvin alone, those long nights after Ellen's passing, but I wouldn't beg for loyalty. A man's house is his castle. Time to lock the gates. My phone buzzed. A text from Calvin. Dad, Velma knows about the letter. She's furious. Furious? Let her come. I've got the key to this castle. I woke to Calvin's text from last night, his words about Velma's fury over my letter burning in my mind. I ignored it, my focus locked on Doris's voicemail hinting at trouble. Grabbing my coffee, I drove to her place, the Waco morning crisp, oak trees swaying along the road. Doris was on her backyard porch, her usual warmth tempered by a tight jaw. What did Velma say at church? I asked, skipping small talk. She leaned in, voice low. Overheard her boasting about handling your assets, Eldon. My blood heated, but I stayed cool, pulling out my phone to test the recorder app discreetly. Eleanor's old advice rang. Listen twice, speak once. Details, Doris, names, dates, I pressed, my tone sharp but steady. Doris didn't hesitate. Over church coffee, Velma had mocked me to Lorene, calling me that old man she'd sidelined from the wedding for a modern family. Her sneer echoed, he won't understand how we do things now. I recorded every word, my thumb steady on the app. Anyone else here? I asked. Doris named 2 church ladies, Mabel and Ruth, who'd nodded along with Velma's laugh. I tied it to the charity event, where that same crowd called me a tenant in my own home. Power concedes nothing without demand, I thought, Frederick Douglass's words fueling me. Thanks, Doris, I said, promising an update as I headed to my truck, the audio file safely saved. Driving home, I replayed Velma's words, her tone a dead ringer for that kitchen smirk months back. I pulled up the forged deed photo from the courthouse, seeing the pattern clear as day. Wedding exclusion, deed grab, now this public jab. I called the bank, confirming Velma had accessed our joint account again. Post letter. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, I thought, her scheme unraveling too soon. In my office, I drafted a subpoena outline for Mabel and Ruth, my lawyer instincts humming. My folder of evidence grew thicker, each page a brick in my defense. I emailed Calvin a snippet of the recording. Hear this? Your wife's words. No reply came, but Velma's number flashed on my phone. An unknown call I let go to voicemail. Staring out at Waco's oak-lined streets, I felt the weight of roots run deep. Weeds get pulled. The voicemail played. Eldon, we need to meet, now, or things get ugly. Ugly? She hasn't seen ugly yet. What's her play? Velma's voicemail from last night echoed in my head, her threat to make things ugly stoking a fire in my gut. I wasn't playing her game. I texted back, Courthouse, 10 a.m., bring papers. Driving to the McLennan County Courthouse, the Texas sun beat down, but my mind was ice cold, focused. I arrived early, spotting Velma and Lorene whispering in the hall, her eyes darting like a cornered fox. She approached, all fake sincerity. "This is family, Eldon, not court," she said, voice dripping honey. I leaned in, my tone steel. "Family doesn't forge deeds." I flashed the recording icon on my phone, her face paling just enough to notice. Abraham Lincoln's words hit me. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than speak and remove all doubt. I walked past her into the hearing room as the judge called the session on my property dispute. The courtroom hummed, wooden benches creaking under the weight of curious locals. The judge grilled Velma on the deed transfer, her voice smooth as she claimed elder consent. Lorraine took the stand, her testimony laced with that same smugness from the charity event, hinting I was out of touch. My lawyer, hired after my letter to Calvin, slid the forged deed snapshot across the table, its dates glaringly off. Velma interrupted. "He's confused, Your Honor. An age thing." I stayed silent, nodding to my lawyer to keep going. The air thickened, every whisper a spark waiting to ignite. I took the stand, my evidence ready. I laid out the deed photo, then played the recording. Velma's voice, clear as day, sneering, "He's too old to care." The judge's frown deepened. Velma's eyes widened, then she burst into tears, sobbing, "He's twisting everything." I didn't flinch, presenting the bank logs showing her block transfers, her overrides stamped in black and white. The judge cut her off. "Ma'am, compose yourself. Facts don't cry." Eleanor's voice echoed in my mind. Truth cuts deeper than any lie. The room felt electric, my pulse steady as the gavel paused proceedings. The judge adjourned for review, warning Velma about forgery consequences. She shot me a glare as we filed out, hissing, "You'll regret this." I met her eyes. "Regret's what got us here, not anymore." Outside, Doris waited with a thermos of coffee, her smile wide. "Heard it went well?" she said. Before I could answer, Calvin approached, his face drawn. "Dad, Velma's talking divorce. Your fault." "Divorce? Let's see who files first." Calvin's words about divorce lingered as I sat at my desk, the Waco night quiet except for the hum of my computer. I checked my phone, and there it was, Velma's video tagged to me, titled, "Protecting Family from Outdated Claims." It twisted the courtroom hearing into a sob story, painting me as a confused old man stirring trouble. 500 views in hours, Lorene's comment pinned at the top, "Family first." My jaw tightened, but I wasn't backing down. I texted Calvin, "This your idea too?" No reply. Malcolm X's words hit hard. "If you're not ready to die for it, put freedom out of your vocabulary." Time to fight back. I dug into my old charity account, pulling up footage from the 1990s, grainy clips of me and Ellen building the fund, shaking hands at Waco drives. I edited fast, overlaying timelines from the forged deed clear as day. A call to Doris confirmed the community hall event was set. "Hall's packed. Your moment," she said, her voice steady. I uploaded the clip to the local forum, tagging donors who'd winced at Velma's charity takeover. Views hit 200 quick, comments split. Some defended Velma, others smelled her lies. When the bull charges, you don't run, you rope it, I thought, grabbing a USB and heading to the hall. The community hall buzzed, Velma center stage, replaying her video to scattered applause. I stood, voice cutting through. "That's my fund she's claiming. Let me show the truth." I plugged in the USB, my footage rolling, me at the fund's start, deed dates exposing her fraud. The crowd murmured, phones out, recording. Velma snapped, "He's bitter." A donor from years back stood, "I gave to Warrick, not Doss." Applause shifted, loud and sharp, drowning her out. My video hit 1,000 views by the time we left, comments screaming, "Fraud alert!" Velma stormed off, glaring. "You'll pay for this smear," she hissed. I faced the crowd. "Truth isn't smear, it's justice." Doris hugged me tight. "Proud of you, neighbor." The viral video's fallout still buzzed in my ears as I sat in my Waco living room, the oak floors creaking under my boots. Calvin's divorce jab from the courthouse steps had me on edge, so I texted him. "Family meeting, my house, tonight. No excuses." By dusk, he showed up with Velma and Lorene, the air thick as Texas summer. I greeted them, voice like iron. "Sit! We end this charade." Velma's sneer came quick. Your videos are lies, Eldon. You're alienating everyone. I pulled a chair, eyes locked on hers. Alienating. You started with that wedding smirk. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words set my tone. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This was my stand. Velma didn't hold back, her voice sharp. You're sabotaging our future with your courtroom stunts and videos, Lorene chimed in, her banker's smirk dripping. Forgot your signatures, Eldon? Senility creeping in? Calvin shifted, muttering, Dad, maybe cool it. I leaned forward, slamming the forged deed photo from months back on the table, pointing to the dates. Forgot, let's refresh memories. Velma's face twitched, but I kept steady. The pot calling the kettle black, I said, flipping her hypocrisy right back. The room crackled, their accusations bouncing off my resolve. I stood, pulling Ellen's letter from my pocket, its edges worn from years. Guard our legacy. It's bigger than grudges, I read aloud, voice steady. This house, this charity, Ellen's blood, sweat, and heart. I dropped the bank log showing Velma's blocked transfers and played the recording of her church sneer. Velma lunged, tears streaming. You're destroying Calvin, she cried, but I saw through the act. No, you did. With your schemes, I shot back. The room erupted, Calvin pleading, Lorene shouting, but I held firm, my truth landing like thunder. I pointed to the door. You're no family. Get out, all of you. Velma hissed. We'll take everything in court. Calvin lingered, whispering, Dad. I turned away, fist clenched on Ellen's letter. Bonds break, but spines don't, I thought, the silence heavy as they left. The doorbell rang, Doris holding a newspaper clipping. Velma's suing for defamation, she said. Suing? Bring it. I've got the receipts. The morning sun filtered through my Waco kitchen, glinting off the coffee pot as I unfolded Doris's newspaper clipping from last night. Velma's defamation suit screamed emotional distress, pinning my video expose as slander. I opened a certified mail envelope, the court filing confirming her claim, her lawyer's name from a cut-rate firm betraying her desperation. I cross-checked it with the courthouse ruling from weeks back. My deed was safe, her case flimsy. Eleanor Roosevelt's words steadied me. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Velma's hold was slipping, and I'd make sure it broke. I set the papers aside, my next move already forming. At my desk, I printed the bank transfer logs from the forged deed and the blocked cash attempts Velma had overridden. I scribbled a note. This bank is closed. No more withdrawals on my dime. I sealed the envelope, certified stamps pressed firm, addressed to Velma and Calvin. The teller's warning from months ago echoed. Overrides like hers flag fraud. I drove to the post office, the clerk's knowing nod hinting at Waco's gossip mill. Payback's a dish best served cold, I thought, dropping the envelope in the slot. This one was ice cold. Back home, I caught Velma's latest interview clip on my phone, her voice whining about my family ruin plot. I dialed the newspaper editor, sending the church recording transcript as rebuttal. We'll run your side. Balance the story, he promised. I emailed the financial reports, showing Velma's meddling, not my sabotage. My video from the community hall now had 5,000 views, comments swinging my way. Warren Buffett's wisdom hit. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. Velma's clock was ticking. I hung up with the editor, feeling the tide turn when the doorbell rang. A process server handed me Velma's amended suit, now claiming custody of Tilden, twisting my disownment into her leverage. She's grasping straws, I thought, steadying myself. My phone rang. Calvin, voice shaking. Dad, she's taking Tilden away. Help me fight. Custody. Over my dead body, time to rally. Calvin's desperate call about Tilden's custody still rang in my ears as I sat at my home office desk, the Waco evening quiet except for the hum of my old computer. Send me the custody papers. I'll review, I told him, my voice calm but firm. I opened the bank app, and there it was, a rejection notice for Velma's latest loan attempt. I called my contact from the deed fiasco, asking, what killed it? His reply was music. Ongoing fraud flags from your dispute. Velma's leaked memo mentioned a bridge loan for family expansion, but her house of cards was crumbling. I emailed Calvin a summary. She's overextended. Use it. Dale Carnegie's words steadied me. The successful man will profit from his mistakes and try again in a different way. Velma wouldn't get another chance. I dialed the newspaper editor from the charity fund days, attaching timestamps from my viral video to prove my founding role. "Front page correction tomorrow," he confirmed, reading me the draft. "Warrick, not Doss, founded Waco's charity legacy." I sent an anonymized snippet of Velma's church sneer for context. A quick text to Doris followed. "Your testimony sealed it. Thanks." Her reply was instant. "Always, Eldon." Strike while the iron's hot, I thought, my timing perfect. The editor's draft was my lever, prying Velma's narrative apart. Calvin showed up later, his face drawn from the custody fight. I handed him annotated papers pointing to the loan rejection. "This shows her financial instability. Leverage it," I said. He nodded, voice low. "You always saw through the fog, Dad." I kept it brief. "Fog clears with facts, son." The wedding snub flickered in my mind, but I pushed it aside, focusing on Tilden's future. Calvin's gratitude was quiet, but it landed. I dropped the editor's article at the coffee shop for donors, the ink fresh as it hit the stands. Velma's calls flooded my phone, ignored. Locals buzzed. "Eldon's the real deal." Roots hold when storms hit, I thought, stepping outside. An urgent knock broke the moment. Lorene, disheveled, blurted, "Velma's divorcing Calvin. She's coming for Tilden." Divorce storm. I'll weather it for the boy. The Waco evening settled soft, the oak trees swaying as I sat on my front porch, the swing creaking under me. Lorene's frantic warning about Velma's divorce and Tilden's custody still echoed, but I pushed it aside when Calvin's truck pulled up, unannounced. He stepped out clutching papers, his face lined with worry. He sat beside me, the porch light catching the strain in his eyes. "Velma filed," he said, voice low. "She's gunning for everything, including Tilden." I poured him coffee, keeping my tone even. "What do you want from me now?" He admitted my envelope of bank logs had pushed Velma to a breaking point, her rages spilling over. I nodded, calm but firm. "Consequences catch up, like a bad check. Maya Angelou's words grounded me. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." Calvin spread the divorce papers on the table, detailing Velma's claim that my interference broke their marriage. He showed me emails from her lawyer, demanding a split of my house's equity. I scanned them, my lawyer's eye sharp. "She's bluffing. My title's locked tight from the courthouse ruling." I handed him advice. "Counter with your logs. Show her overrides." Calvin sighed. I should have stood up sooner. I kept it simple. Hindsight's 20/20. Forward's what counts. The weight of his regret hung between us, but I wasn't here to fix his past. I leaned forward, my voice steady. "I'll help with Tilden's custody. He's innocent in this." "But our bridge burned, Calvin. Rebuild yours first." Families earned, not assumed, I thought, the sting of his wedding absence distant now. His eyes glistened, promising change. I softened, just a touch. "Actions over words, son. Fool me once, shame on you. Twice, on me. Third time's my choice," I reminded myself. Texas grit holding firm. Calvin left, his truck fading down the oak-lined street. Letting go ain't loss. It's space, I thought, feeling lighter. Kids' laughter from the nearby park sparked thoughts of Tilden. Then the mailbox creaked, an envelope from the court. Eldon Warrick custody hearing notice. For the boy, I stepped back in, one last stand. The Waco courthouse loomed under a May sky, its stone steps familiar as I walked in for Tilden's custody hearing. The judge reviewed Velma's loan rejection, my evidence from the bank logs painting her as financially reckless. She took the stand, voice sharp, claiming I'd poisoned Calvin against her. I stood calm as steel and laid out the envelope's proof, her forged transfers, her overrides, all documented. The judge's eyes narrowed, and the ruling came. Partial custody to Calvin, supervised visits for me, Velma's claims tossed out. Then the twist hit. Court ordered her to repay the charity fund she'd siphoned. Her PR firm had dropped her, her lies exposed. Frederick Douglass's words rang true. Where justice is denied, that place is a tyranny. I nodded, justice landing like a gavel. Outside, Velma cornered me in the hall, her face twisted. "You stole my life," she spat. I handed her the repayment order, voice steady. You forged yours. Now pay up. Calvin approached, quiet, signing Tilden's visit schedule with a nod of thanks. Later, Lorene called, her voice cracked. Velma's leaving town. Bankrupt. I kept it short. Choices have costs. Learn from it. What goes around comes around, I thought, the cycle complete. At the community center, I met Doris to sign over the charity fund to the local board, renaming it the Eldon Warrick Legacy Fund for single-parent scholarships. The board chair clapped my shoulder. Yours stands pure Texas spirit. Tilden ran in with Calvin, wrapping me in a hug. Missed you, Grandpa, he said. Missed you more. We start fresh, I replied, the wedding snub a distant shadow. Legacy lives beyond grudges, I thought, my heart full. In my new garden plot I planted an oak sapling, the soil rich from my old home. Doris raised a glass. To roots that endure. Calvin added, Proud of you, Dad. I'll earn back trust. I watered the tree, smiling. Growth takes time, no rush. Helen Keller's words closed it. Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of the overcoming of it. The horizon glowed, and I grinned. A new chapter dawned, unburdened. Roots deep, sky wide. What horizons call now. Join Eldon Warrick, a 72-year-old Texan, in a gripping family drama story of betrayal and redemption. When his daughter-in-law excludes him from his son's wedding, smirking it was for real family, Eldon uncovers a web of deceit threatening his home and legacy. Watch his sharp, unyielding fight to reclaim his roots in this emotional roller coaster, perfect for fans of heartfelt family conflicts and triumphant justice. Subscribe for more.